I hereby call the Brockton School Committee to order, it being Wednesday, September 3, 2025 at 7 p.m. We are, of course, at the George M. Romm Little Theater at Brockton High School, 470 Forest Ave, Brockton, Mass. 02301. I do need to read into the record the following. Dear visitors, welcome to a meeting of the Brockton School Committee. This is the agenda that we discussed this evening. Please note the hearing of visitors is included. If you have a statement or question, please give your name to the secretary. We have those from Mrs. Campbell. In addition to attending in person, the public can view this meeting via television on Comcast Channel 8 and also the 1071 HD version, and online via the following link, which is www.youtube.com/TheBrocktonChannels. At this time, I'll ask that we all please stand and salute the American flag over to the right. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. This time, I do need to call the quorum call the roll to establish a quorum. Mr. Sullivan?
Yeah.
Mr. Gomes?
Here.
Mr. Vega?
Here.
Ms. Oliver?
Here.
Vice Chair Rodriguez?
Here.
Ms. Azak?
Here.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
I'm here as well as chair. Of course, Dr. Tahiliani is the clerk secretary of the committee. That's agenda one. Agenda two is the hearing of visitors. Pursuant to school committee policy, each person requesting to speak shall be allotted, thank you, a maximum of 3 minutes. Since this period is limited to 15 minutes, a total of 5 people shall be permitted to speak on a first-come, first-served basis. At this time, we do have people that have signed in. President of BESPA, Stacy McDonald, please. Ms. McDonald. Good evening, Ms. McDonald.
Good evening, school committee members, superintendent, mayor.
Turn the mic on.
Oh, is it on now? Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. 1 second, I'm sorry. I'm really sad that I have to stand here and speak tonight. Our members didn't want to have to go into mediation. Our essential paraprofessionals would much rather have settled a contract before the school year started. We are all here because we care about the students in Brockton. We want to be able to continue doing our jobs, but you're making it really hard on us. Our insurance costs have gone up, and the 2% raise that you've offered will not keep pace with that cost. Every single one of our members will bring home less money this year than they did last year. The poverty wage that you've provided for us is disrespectful. We believe that Brockton can do better, and we ask for you to dig deep and put a better deal on the table, one that puts money where your mouths are. You say you respect us, you say that you value us, but we can't believe that because that's not how you treat us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDonald. Next individual is Ms. Tracy Fernandez from BESPA, please.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Raise your hand if you've been injured at work. If you've ever had a concussion. You've been bitten, kicked. You've gone home crying because a student was missing for days after days. You've made phone calls to parents. You've come out of your own pocket numerous times, hundreds of dollars, to put things that are essential in your essential classrooms, and were never reimbursed. How many of you can afford to take vacations with your families? This is not respect. We love these children. We love every single one of them. We love them when they kick us and when they bite us. We come back to work every single day when they wipe their bodily fluids on us. We hug them when they are hurting. We console parents when they are crying, when they are desperate and they want to go home, when their schools have been changed and they're new. We are the one. You ask any teacher that works in SPED, in special education, if they could do it without us. How many of you work more than one job? I work 3. I work 11-hour days, Monday through Friday. And then I have side jobs that I've had to come up with on my own to be able to supplement my own families, to put food on my tables, to be able to afford insurance. We are asking for the same respect that you yourselves get at your jobs. You go to work every single day, and you come in and you look well put together. And sometimes we go home bloodied and battered. We don't get what we deserve. And what you are offering us is a level of disrespect I cannot even explain to you. If you had children in special ed, you would know. You would understand. You would talk to us. Do you even see us? Have you spoken to any of us? Do you know what it's like for us to go summers searching for jobs? Because once the school year is over, we only get to work part-time if we want to stay in our own jobs. We want to work one job. It is not our level of education. Some of us have multiple degrees. We love this job. You're not going to find anyone better than the people that are in this room.
Ms. Marie Pierre Alcantara Gomez, please. BESPA. Good evening.
Hello. My name is Marie. I work for the Davis School. Been working for the Davis School for over 25 years. I'm doing 2 jobs. I would love to quit my second job. I can't. Enough. Bills to pay, and everything. Last year at the Davis School, we started in September. There was no third grade. My principal asked me, we don't have no teacher. Can you do it? I can say no. I did that money. Do it. So I did for a couple of weeks. Over 6 weeks, third grade. Then fourth grade. Teacher had a surgery. Mr. Mato, I need your help. Can you do it? I went and I did it again. For what? 6 weeks or more. Then another teacher had a surgery. Mr. Mato, can you do it? That's the third teacher. Yes, I will do it, Mrs. The other power, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Let him find it. No, I have to do it. I need the money. I need the extra. I need the extra. Then 7th grade, in the middle of the year, teacher's gone. Mr. Mato, I need your help. I want you to be the social studies. What? Me? Yeah. I don't have no one. Can you do it? Yes, I'm gonna do it. And I did it until the end of the year. I did it by myself. I had to make copies, everything by myself. Why? Because I need that job. You know? Why do I have to do 2 jobs? Why? 25 years I have to do 2 jobs. Why? My kids can say, Mom, stop that job. Go do full time to do the job. No, I want Brockton. My kids went to school to Brockton. I love my kids in Brockton. I want to be in Brockton. But you guys are pushing me to go somewhere else. Before Brockton, I was working for Milton School. That's way more money than Brockton. But I quit Milton to be in Brockton because I want to be with my bilingual kids. I speak 5 different languages. I want to be with my kids. A para that speaks 5 different languages. I'm always in the office speaking 5 different languages. For what? For the same amount? For nothing. No, I want to stay, so we need a change. Today, I call out my other job to be here with all of them. Call out to be here. And, I mean, less money, but I had to call out to be here with them. So we want something. We're doing a lot for those kids. We're doing a lot for those kids, so we want something more, you know?
Alexis Corin Hall, please. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am a para at South Middle School. I work in the EI. I started off as a COVID nurse. I was offered the position to work in EI. I could have continued and went back to nursing, and I didn't. I stayed with Brockton and EI. I have been through a lot. As a single mother, my child also goes to Brockton Public Schools. I actually moved out of the district, okay? And my child and myself stayed in Brockton district schools. We all deserve everything that you guys have, and we're not getting that. I still have to go to self-help to get things done with my bills, and I support these kids every single day, and that's not fair to me, and it's not fair to my coworkers. I still have to deal with people's kids biting and kicking me, and me having to carry them to a space. And I still come back. If I wanted to, I got offered a position somewhere else. But I chose to stay with Brockton because I feel like you guys should care just like we care. It's not the teachers that have to go through everything. It's us. We're the ones that do everything for these kids. They teach. We teach their mind and how to be adults. We deserve just as well as everybody else does.
So that does conclude the people that signed in for hearing and visitors, but as a chair, I do want to thank all of you for being here tonight. I really do, and I do see you and I do hear you. And I just want to thank you for being here, specifically those that had to take off from a second job to be here tonight. So appreciate the leadership, the membership, and we thank you for being here tonight. We'll continue with the agenda, which is Agenda 3, Report of the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Tahiliani, please. Is anybody going to be leaving right now? No? Okay. We won't take a recess then.
Welcome back, everyone. We are happy to be back for the school year 25-26. We certainly had a few hiccups today, as we often do on our first day back, but we had even more smiling faces and welcoming arms, so it was a wonderful first day of school. I'm excited to tell you a little bit more about it. So, as we know, today, at the first day of school, we try our best to capture a few of the incredible moments as students return for the start of the year. The Raymond was just one place where we got to see families walking their children to school. At the Angelo, staff members eagerly greeted new and returning students, and in at least one instance, Mr. Kelly got the chance to greet a future student who accompanied their loved one to school this morning. Students were also excited to greet Mrs. Colburn at the Downey, while Ms. Thomas and Mr. Lynch spent time throughout the day with students, reminding them of the core values and expectations of what it means to be a South Dragon. At the Davis and the Gilmore, students got the chance to meet new principals, Ms. Prowler and Mr. Rooney. At Promise, students were excited not only to start the year, but also enthusiastically accepted their Yonder pouches as the cell phone free experience expands to a second school for 25-26. At the Ashfield, students got the chance to take part in the annual Ashfield Games as a chance to reconnect after the long summer break and ease back into the school year. All of the members of the leadership team were out in schools today, including Dr. Ruggill Buteau, our new CFO, or Assistant Superintendent of Finance, who made it to the Kennedy and the Hancock to greet students and staff as she begins her first school year as part of the team. The food service department also, oh, am I on the right slide? Yes, I am. Also, just as an update, the food service department served 6,023 breakfasts, 9,431 lunches today. And our average attendance today was 90%. This also includes no-shows at the start of the year, which we know eventually get dropped, so that is a deflated number, but 90% for the start of the year, and 98% attendance at Promise, where 32 of our students at the Promise spent the day on a college campus. Today also marked the first day for North's new uniforms. On June 25th, North had a fashion show to showcase the student uniforms where over 50 families were in attendance. And based on the student feedback that night, they added the option of a black uniform shirt to the collection, which was a great way to incorporate student voice into this pilot program. 134 families attended North's uniform night on August 21st, giving students the chance to be fitted and order their uniforms. And 116 families also attended 6th grade orientation on August 26th, where they learned more about the new uniform program and picked out their complimentary shirts. North did earn enough from their multicultural cookbook sales to provide each student with one uniform shirt. This was also due in large part due to the generosity of Mike Durden, owner of Played Against Sports in Dedham, because he allowed us to purchase these uniform shirts at bulk price to allow each NMS student to get one complimentary uniform shirt. So I look forward to providing you more updates on how this pilot is progressing throughout the year. Also yesterday, before school even started, our seniors were eager to kick off their school year. Congratulations to the class of 2026 who hosted a successful second annual BHS Senior Sunrise yesterday. Despite some fog, they had the opportunity to start their final year at BHS together at 5 a.m. to watch the sunrise over Marciano Stadium. Of course, before school started today, we had a very packed summer of programming with our community schools. Community schools report that their Get Ready summer program saw an average of 220 campers participating each day, learning sports like baseball, basketball, boxing, wrestling, cheerleading, field hockey, flag football, golf, gymnastics, kung fu, soccer, tennis, and soccer. I already said soccer twice, soccer and tennis. New this year was the multi-sports option, which gave campers a chance to try something new each day. And we're looking forward to hopefully adding more sports and opportunities in future summers. Campers in the Bright Beginnings pre-K camp got to participate in hands-on learning opportunities, outdoor play, special events, and community building activities. The summer program also featured an incredible capstone performance by students who were exploring drama through the Act 1, Scene 1 program, while students got the chance to experience life as a BHS boxer through the Junior Boxer program. So huge shout out to Dr. DeBarris and the whole team for the incredible work they've done throughout the break to keep our students engaged and connected and have lots of fun. And I know that includes a lot of the paraprofessionals that are in this room, so thank you so much for all you do. We also had a lot of fun end of the year activities, or end of the summer activities. Last week, 2 of our schools welcomed back Brockton native and former Davis School student AJ DeBonsta, who has gone on to become a top college basketball recruit and a major NBA prospect. AJ first stopped at the Davis, where he was recognized with a new banner that will hang in the Davis gym, serving as a reminder to current and future students about what is possible for them in the future. Then he headed over to West, where he and his sponsors generously gave away backpacks, bikes, and Lego sets to students. He also spent plenty of time taking photos with students, signing autographs, and reconnecting with many of his former teachers at the Davis. Many thanks to AJ and his team for making the day so special for our students, and also to the numerous BPS staff members who volunteered to help make the giveaway. I'd also like to recognize Yolwyn Coleman, Mario Lamar, Kevin Rooney, and everyone who helped make the day happen. I also wanted to extend a special thank you to school committee member Joyce Asak for her efforts to organize the 10th annual BPS backpack giveaway last month. Joyce and an army of volunteers from the Boxer Outreach Club and BPS and Brockton communities teamed up to hand out hundreds of backpacks thanks to a continued partnership with Cradles to Crayons. Late last month, our bilingual department hosted its 2nd annual bilingual convening, late last September, bringing together members of our bilingual team and experts in the field for a full day of professional development focused on supporting our bilingual learner. It was also a reunion of sorts for members of our team who took part in the ROPES grant-funded professional development activities last year. This year's convening focused on meeting the challenges of English learners with special needs, as well as the cultural wealth our bilingual students add to our school community. We are fortunate to welcome some incredible guest lecturers, including Dr. Claudia Rinaldi from LaSalle University and Dr. Chris Leader from UMass Lowell. BPS also hosted a successful summer institute which brought together 29 educators who work in our substantially separate developmental programs, including 10 who are in their first year as members of the BPS team. Over 2 days last month, Dr. Christine Pecker, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Lindsay Dahlquist, and Diane Davis facilitated a variety of workshops meant to help teachers be even more effective in supporting their students and working collaboratively. The agenda included sessions on effective communication and collaboration with paraprofessionals, implementing unique frameworks designed to support students with special needs, structuring classrooms to better support students on the autism spectrum disorder, and more. Thank you to the facilitators and educators who took time out of their summer to sharpen their skills so that their students could get the absolute most out of the school experience. Before the official kickoff of the school year, we also had a chance to host our annual leadership professional development with school-based and district leaders that helped to bring our teams together and foster an incredible sense of collaboration and common purpose to start the year. Yesterday morning, we welcomed back our returning staff as well as our new staff with our annual convocation. The convocation is a great opportunity to reflect on our progress from last year and articulate our aspirations for the future. We started the morning with BHS and central office here and other schools joining remotely from their buildings. Then staff moved on to their school and departmental meetings before taking the afternoon to plan for students' arrival. Those 3 top photos are from the start of the day kickoff, which included words of encouragement from the Mayor, Vice Chair Rodriguez, and Deputy Superintendent Sharon Wolder. And then we have Mr. McCaskill, who took the time to introduce all of the new team members who are joining the BHS team, and a photo of some of the South Middle School team during their opening day activities. And before we get too far into the school year, I did want to remind families to please complete important back-to-school forms, which includes medical and emergency contact forms, so that our schools have all of the information that they need to support students and families throughout the year. I will say that we have a higher completion rate right now than we did at this time last year, so that's wonderful. We do want to make sure we get to 100% completion. So to complete them online, visit bpsma.org/2025 forms. And finally, while we've announced these new leaders and they're well into having begun their roles, I did want to take a moment to formally acknowledge 3 individuals who have taken on new roles in the district. Colleen Proudler has transitioned into the interim principal role at the Gilmore School, and Dr. Leah McKetty has joined BPS as the new principal at the Raymond School. Corday Higgins, who has been with BPS for quite a while, has transitioned from the BPS Administrative Internship Program to serve as the new interim coordinator at the Adult Learning Center. We are very fortunate to have all of these leaders in their respective roles, and I'm looking forward to the impact that they will have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent. Members of the committee, any questions for the superintendent at this time? Just take a 1-minute recess to let people leave.
Yes, honey. Oh, okay, honey, no problem, honey. Have a good one. Good to see you. Excuse me. Just if you tell this young lady to be able to get by. I'm trying to get stressful. Just the chairs, it's fine. Just the chairs, okay. Thank you.
Move the table and you can go that way.
Number down, yeah. Okay. Yeah, see, it's like, oh my God. See, take it easy, honey.
So yeah, he hasn't officially, he's like inactive, but he's
Thank you for the info. Okay.
We're coming back. We're back in the session. Any questions relative to the superintendent's report at this time? Ms. Azak, please.
Not so much questions. I just wanted to commend our superintendent. I had the opportunity to attend the convocation yesterday, and I was very pleased with the presentation and everything that you had addressed with our teachers and our staff. You've made a lot of changes in a short period of time. So, sorry, I think my microphone. But I just want to acknowledge that, and then thank you for acknowledging the backpack giveaway. I haven't had a chance to thank all the volunteers and to thank Cradles to Crayons. 6,500 backpacks were handed out, and I just wanted to commend, there's so many volunteers, so I want to acknowledge them. So I spoke with Jordan, but our Boxer outreach, having our students there made a huge difference. They loved it. They wanted to do it again. I said, no. I physically couldn't do it right away, but and that brings me on to Cradles just reached out to me. They're moving up their winter coat drive, so they're gonna get us the coats, I think, in September. So I will thank our volunteers. There's a lengthy list of volunteers, and but I just thank you for acknowledging that.
Thank you, Ms. Azak. Any additional questions or comments to the superintendent from the committee? Oh, Mrs. Sullivan, please.
Well, it sounds like it got off to a great start. So, I mean, I didn't get any complaints, so I'm happy. It sounds like great job. Thank you.
Anything else? We'll move on to the agenda item, which is superintendent evaluation process and timeline.
All right, so as you know, last year I did present to all of you my goals for the year, and also the 6 focus indicators that I was going to focus on for last year. So we came to the end of the cycle, so last school year 24-25, so I've now been here for a full year. So it's time for the evaluation process. You all did receive this very light reading, I know, which is the artifact book and also end of year report for the evaluation. And so it's separated by the goals that has artifacts and explanations for how I believe I met my goals, but then also it breaks it down by focus indicator and provides artifacts for the focus indicators. It also lets you know sort of what the rating scales are, so it's right there for you. As well, and I just want to say that, you know, I just want to thank the entire district, the entire leadership team, all of the school and district leaders, all of the educators, because, you know, the work that I am presenting is obviously a culmination of the work that's done throughout the district. So this is a reflection of all of our work. You also did receive the forms in the packet last week. So my understanding of next steps is that you all would set up a subcommittee meeting. You would individually do your rating. So we sent them in hard copy, but also we do have an electronic form you can fill out instead if you prefer to do it electronically. So that will also be provided to you tomorrow morning as well. We have that ready to go. So you can do it in either method, and then I believe you have your subcommittee meetings and decide. So I can hand it off to you if you'd like to talk more about that.
Vice Chairman? Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Dr. T.
As the superintendent indicated, everybody has received this last week. The form will be sent electronically tomorrow, and then you also have a hard copy, whatever's easier for you to fill out. My only request, I just want to give everybody ample time to review the book. I'm shooting for a deadline. If the members can forward your evaluations to the superintendent's office by the 24th of this month. Is that enough time for the members? Anybody have an issue with that? Because I'm trying to compile all the evaluations, and if 2 members want to accompany me in putting this all together, I will be working with Kim Tsai so we can make a presentation early October. So if any members that want to join myself and the assistant superintendent on this, just let me know, and we can sit down and work and put this together, because this is a school committee evaluation. I just want committee members' inputs when we put this together.
So that, the vice chair has stated that would be 3 weeks from today, 21 days. Is that ample for everybody? Seeing none, we'll go with the 24th.
So the 24th, and then any members that want to join me and Mrs. Sai, when we get all the evaluations, we'll compile it, we'll put a nice presentation, and I'll set a date for the subcommittee, and then we'll go through the evaluation.
I will join. I have a question.
Mrs. Sullivan, please.
So the evaluation will go to Kim Tsai?
Yeah, we'll forward it to the superintendent, however you guys want to compile it, if it's going to be
I don't
hard
think
copy.
it's supposed to go to the superintendent, though. It's supposed to go to
No, it's not.
the vice chair and the chair, because it's her evaluation, so you don't send
I
it to
understand
her.
it. So-
Someone will go over it with her, I believe is the process.
Like I said, you can forward it to myself or to the superintendent's office, who is Melinda, will compile it if it's the hard copy. Or you could just reach out to me and I can grab it from you personally, whatever's easier. I'm just trying to make it easier on the members.
Yeah, it always in the past has gone to the chair and the vice chair,
Okay?
so,
Okay.
just so everybody knows that that's been the process.
Yep, you can forward it to myself and the mayor in hard copy or via email, and we'll compile it
Just
together.
for transparency reasons and safety reasons it's confidential material, so it needs to be treated as such.
Is there anybody here that would not do an online version? In the past, we've done online. It's very simple. Is there anybody that's going to do a hard copy? No, right? Everyone will do online. I just think that that's much more conducive to the process. So that's good to know. We'll be getting that tomorrow. Again, please, once it's completed, on or before 21 days from tonight, please get it to the vice chair, and you can CC me. And then we will be working through the vice chair, and Attorney Sai will be coordinating it, and 2 other members. Okay? Any other questions on that for this evening? We'll go to Mr. Vega, please.
It's just a quick comment for folks at home. The school committee has always done evaluations of the superintendent. What I will say is that what we have before us is a very thorough action plan. And some folks at home might say, hey, it's weird that the superintendent who's being evaluated helped shape that evaluation process. But I'm wondering if Dr. Tigliani could speak to where did you draw the kind of playbook that you've put together, where did that come from?
So in educator evaluations, similar to all of the educators throughout the district, we have to present and have approved by our supervisors, which is why I presented it to all of you, a professional practice goal, a student learning goal, and so we present those, we have those approved. We also have, standards that we have to fulfill, and underneath those standards are focus indicators. And so under each one of these, so for example, Standard 1A is curriculum. So that was one of the ones that I focused on. So you'll see that I have Standard 1A, the action steps taken, which were also those presented here that were approved. And then what I've provided to you is examples. So in curriculum, for example, we had the high quality instructional material presentation. We have the new adoption of the curriculum. So basically artifacts that demonstrate that we did meet that focus indicator. So for example, it says here, under proficient for Standard 1A curriculum, monitors and assesses progress across all schools and content areas to ensure all instructional staff implement effective and rigorous standards-based units of instruction consisting of well-structured lessons with measurable outcomes. So that's sort of the proficient rating. And then underneath that are the action steps that we had agreed to because of where we are in that process. So one of them was adopting the ELA curriculum for grades 9 through 12 after piloting 2 high-quality curriculums, implementing the second year rollout of Wonders curricula. So it's basically a progress report, not just of mine, but of the district to demonstrate that we are doing the things that we have said we were going to do. So this all comes from the DESE standards and works just like any educator evaluation in the district. The only difference is that instead of a principal doing it of a teacher, the school committee does it for me. And in the past, and again, it's totally up to the will of the body, but the superintendent evaluation can be public and transparent, and can be posted right on the website. So when the composite is complete, you know, good, bad, and the ugly, it can all be posted on the website. I'm the one employee of the district where that can happen, and I actually don't dislike that process because I think it does promote transparency, and there are certainly areas of growth. You know, I definitely admit that there are areas of growth for me personally as a professional, but areas that we're working on as a district. And so I don't mind that feedback being out there, and so that we can be held accountable for, you know, addressing that feedback. For example, I appreciate very much that you didn't get complaints today. I did, but that I think is an opportunity for improvement. And so we are working towards that improvement. So I do think that the feedback, even when it is, you know, in the form of criticism, is important. And I feel perfectly comfortable having it posted online.
I'll just add to that, you know, what I really liked about what you've put forward is that aside from adhering to DESI standards, you're using, and I can't tell you what the acronym stands for anymore, but you're using SMART goals. And for folks at home, you know, that system of goal setting is really powerful because the superintendent doesn't just get to say, well, I'm going to make X, Y, and Z better. They have to provide measurable standards by which they get evaluated on success. So they have to say, this goal is here, and here's how you know if I succeeded. They have to provide measurable methods for the committee or their evaluators to say, actually, you hit the mark or you didn't. So it really puts you out there. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vega. Mrs. Sullivan.
I just wanted to let everybody know, like the public that's watching, that the report of the evaluation of the superintendent does go to the Department of Ed. And I don't think we ever did put it online, but it was a public meeting, whereas the findings were put up there on the screen, and the committee went over all the findings. So I don't think we ever put it on the Brockton Public School webpage. That would be a first if we did that. But I think that you can still look it up in the DESI website, I bet. I bet you could, yeah. I never tried to do it, so I don't know. But thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Any, Ms. Azak, please.
I just wanted, for those that this is their first time doing the evaluation, when I was vice chair, we had gotten the evaluation together. Let's just say having the material printed out for you is so much easier than going tab by tab. So that is a huge help. I'd like to see if everyone's going to get it done by the 24th, Mr. Rodriguez, because it was always chasing everyone to get it done. So if we can stay on track, usually we have this done by, I think, June, early July, but sometimes, you know, it gets dragged on. And all the superintendents, since I've been on the committee, have always provided the evidence. So this is nothing new. They've always provided the evidence. And if you want more of the evidence, we'd have to reach out to the superintendent's office and ask them for clarification or more information. But if we can do it electronically online, that would be great, because that'll make it so much easier than handwriting your summaries. And then I know when we did that online, we were able to log back in numerous times, and it would save everything for you. So that would be a huge time saver. But no, again, having the evidence, superintendent, is definitely is much more helpful having that hands-on. But thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Azak. Any additional comments at this time? Seeing none, and I'm confident 24th is going to be met. I feel good about that. I really do. I feel good. Thank you, Superintendent. Relative to subsection C, items to refer to subcommittee, are there any items to refer to subcommittee at this time? Mr. Vega, followed by Vice Chair, please.
For facilities, I'd like to propose that we meet to get an update on the situation with the Boys and Girls Club and the easement there. And I'd like to follow up with a question for the superintendent as well. So I've gotten, and I'm sure other committee members have gotten, a fair amount of questions and concern around talk of ICE agents being present in Brockton. And the questions that come up are, well, what is the district doing should an ICE agent or authorities approach one of our schools or buildings requesting access to students and or student information? What's in place currently?
So last year, we had put out guidance first to all of the school leaders, and then the school leaders to the teachers and front office staff to let them know how to address any concerns in the case that ICE were to come knocking on our door. Same for our bus drivers as well. Throughout the course of the year, we have been in contact with our attorney about, some of the changing, it hasn't really changed all that much, but some of the areas where we are able to provide further support or the areas where we're not. The AG has also put out additional guidance, so on our page on our website, that is all updated, but our plan is to next week just send out a reminder to all of the principals, reminding them these are the protocols. They really haven't changed much since last year, but again, they are to direct anybody from ICE or law enforcement to our central offices. Even with a warrant, that needs to come to central offices. We'll be in direct contact with our attorney, who will then review it and determine what our next steps need to be. Another thing that we identified is that there were questions about what about students who are not on the bus or in your school building and are walking. And so, that one is much more difficult. And so one of the things that we have been thinking about is having Know Your Rights cards, making sure that those are available in multiple languages that students have, and so that they recognize that they don't necessarily have to respond, that they can get their way to school. So what are some recommendations that we have for students who may be in a situation where they need to know what their rights are? And so there are a lot of different organizations like the Mira Coalition and different groups who do provide resources like that. So I think it's about us making sure that we're making them available in hard copy to our students, because all of those things are on the website, but obviously a student is not going to be looking it up on a website when the time comes. And so being able to have that information handy is going to be important. So reminders to principals next week, reminders to teachers and front office staff after that, similar to how we did last year, but just assuring them that, they are not required to have ICE come throughout their building, or even required to be able to them as front office staffers, principals, address that right in the moment. Their job is to educate our students. They refer that to central offices, and we will take care of it.
And I appreciate all the kind of proactive work that you and district leadership and school leadership have done on this topic. We are the policymakers for the district. And so I'd like to make a motion for the policy subcommittee to review the need for an official district policy that provides staff with guidance on how to respond to requests from and interactions between authorities from ICE and BPS students and staff.
That's the form of a motion. Second. Just for the record, motion was made by Mr. Vega. It was properly seconded by Mr. Combs. All in favor, kindly raise your hand. If you're opposed, raise your hand. That passes unanimously. Any other matter? Mr. Vice Chairman, you had a matter about subcommittee?
Yep. Mr. Vega kind of took a couple of my points away, but so speaking on policy, there's some policies that I'm working with our legal counsel. So if any members have any policies, as Mr. Vega indicated, that you guys want to review, make sure to work with legal counsel so we can put that, so I could tee it up for sometime early October. Obviously, we had some steps that we have to correct with the audit that was conducted. I want to make sure that we're on top of that and following some of those guidance. Also, I'm looking to no set dates right now. I'm looking at a facility subcommittee meeting, but we're just holding off on the Boys and Girls Club to respond to our legal counsel. He sent them a couple of correspondence, and it's gone silent. And then also early October with the superintendent, we'll do a FinCom meeting relative to our FY25-26 budget, where we are moving forward, and then we'll call for a transportation security subcommittee as well. So I'll let all the members know when those dates are. So The other thing, just is, let's be cognizant of negotiations. We still have a lot of negotiations going on with Tuesdays, so we don't schedule our negotiations on Tuesdays, just in case if the mayor has to call a special, and we don't want to cancel a negotiation specifically, as we're trying to get these negotiations done as quickly as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Mr. Vega, I'm also going to volunteer the professional expertise of Immigration Services Director of my office, Ms. Courtney Henderson. She's been working on this ICE matter daily, so she's an expert, and she can be very helpful on the school side as well.
I just want to say, Mr. Mayor, I got to give you a lot of props. That office is doing fantastic work. I've sat in a number of Ms. Henderson sessions online, and they're informative, they are affirming, and they're doing the work that I would imagine a mayor's office for a gateway city should be doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any other matters referred to subcommittee at this time? Seeing none, that concludes that agenda item. We'll move on, please. Agenda 4 is a consent agenda. We have A, B, C, and D. What is the will of the committee? Anyone want to make a motion to take them collectively, or anybody want to take them out? Mrs. Sullivan, please.
Letter C, there's 11 bullet points.
Yes.
I was only going to address 3 and 5. Bullet point 3 and 5.
2, 3.
I just wanted those.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other matters? Mr. Vega? And Mr.
I don't feel the need to go through each item, but there's an overriding question that I have for the grants that I don't know how that works in the system here. Yeah, I don't feel the need to go into each one, but so the question is around, like, what are the metrics that we're using to determine whether we've been successful in the implementation of these grants? We have grants as large as, $1 million, over, $1,300,000, and several smaller ones that, in total are quite, like, what are the metrics being used for that? And so I don't know how that fits in.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's fair at this time. Mr. Gomes, was that very similar question?
Yes. The other thing too is, I know we got another packet. We had requested this, so thank you for that. That breaks down each and every grant. I did go through all of them, but bullet point 2, which is the adult education and family literacy services, there's no breakdown. But also I had a few questions about the funds, and, like, is it similar to what we've been receiving? Is it enough to expand the program? Logistic questions.
Okay. Any other ones taking out? So subsection C, 2, 3, and 5 will be taken out separately. Is there a will of the committee to all the other matters?
Yeah.
Mr. Vice Chair?
So on the bullet points, if the members look all the way to the right, they're listed as 4, and they each have the letters. So if we just indicate those letters for the record.
4B, if we can take that out.
Yep. So we have number 4B, we have 4C, and we have, is that 4E? 4E, which are the enclosures. Relative to A, we'll only do this. Relative to A and B, could we take those collectively? Is there a motion to take those collectively?
Motion to take A and B collectively.
Second. Was that you, Joyce? Or was that Anna? Okay. Motion was made by Mr. Gomes, probably second by Ms. Oliver. A, I just have to read this to the minutes. Approval of the minutes, special school committee meeting dated August 5, 2025. B is the approval of the minutes, regular school committee meeting dated July 8, 2025. So motion on the floor, probably second. All in favor, kindly raise your hand. If you oppose, raise your hand. A and B passes unanimously. We will now take...
You can pass D.
We can pass D. Is there a motion to take D?
Motion to accept item D, acceptance of human resources notifications.
Is there a second? Okay, motion was made by Mrs. Sullivan, probably second by Mr. Gomes. D, acceptance of human resource notifications, appointments, certified appointments, non-certified, personal actions, which is leaves of absences, resignations, and retirements. We have a motion on the floor, probably second. All in favor, kindly raise your hand. If you oppose, raise your hand. Passes unanimously. That's D. Now, C, we're going to take out, it would be individually 3 items. So FY26 Adult Education and Family Literacy Services Grant in the amount of $974,130 even. And on our closures, that's number 4B. We'll take that right now.
So yes, that is a grant that we have received before. And to start with the first question about how we're measuring our effectiveness and our, just the overall utility of the grants. So you may remember that Cam Jackson has come in for quarterly reports to report out on what are the grants that we've gotten, our entitlement grants, our competitive grants, how are we on the spending of those grants. So as we are closing out for last school year, she will be returning. She's getting our new CFO up to speed, so she'll be returning to give us a sort of a closeout presentation from last year's grants. So the Adult Learning Center grant is a grant that we have received in the past. We were expecting for it to be cut this year. They had kind of let us know to expect some cuts, luckily. And so I think I had mentioned this at a previous meeting that we had to kind of regroup and plan for what does a 15% cut look like. However, fortunately, it was not cut to the amount that we thought it was going to be, and we were able to make some adjustments without making significant cuts. So that is a grant to provide ESOL, adult basic education, high set prep, and workforce readiness for 1,100 adult learners. The grant also supports advising, digital literacy, professional development, and instructional resources. And we are required to provide a local match of $206,000. But we also provide sort of above and beyond that for adult learning.
Okay, thank you. The match was another question. I was just wondering, do we always allocate funds for that and where it was coming from? So thank you. The other thing too, because I know we've always had this program. The other question that goes back to Jorge's point is how we're measuring, the success of said program. For instance, and the reason why I pulled this one out, recently I had a lot of adult individuals that came from my home country and are looking for the Adult Learning Center to take classes and do so on and so forth. And some of them did mention they were on the waiting list or the program was full. That's why I wanted to ask the next question, which goes back to metrics. Are we servicing everybody that's coming to us? If not, what efforts are we putting towards accommodating, or are we looking for more grants to expand the program?
So we are doing our best, but this is definitely an area where my understanding is there has always been a waiting list, and it's always been quite large. We are unable to accommodate the number of adult learners that the city has. We do appreciate the resources that we get above net school spending in order to support our adult learners. But it does come at a cost. It comes at space. We provide personnel. And so I know that the need is very, very great and that we are not meeting the full need. We are always looking for grants. We are always looking for more competitive grants. But I will be honest that this is an area where we have some limitations. And where I admit that our priority is pre-K to 12. And so that does end up, taking priority, unfortunately. And so I do know that there are a lot of wait lists. There's a long wait list, but what I will say is that they try to create as many seats as possible, and when people are out, if you go into I'm sure you've gone to the Adult Learning Center, those seats are filled. Every single day, every single class. So I don't think any opportunity is going wasted, at least.
It would be amazing if we could sit down and look at ways that we can extend the services that the Adult Learning Center is providing to the folks on the waiting list. I don't know, come up with some creative solutions, so to say. But that answered my questions. Thank you.
Any other questions relative to that specific grant? Mr. Vega, please.
No, it's not a specific grant.
Not to that specific grant. We did take that out separately, so is there a motion relative to that matter?
Motion to accept. Do you want to go through the other ones that we're going to pull?
We'll do it that way. FY26, the one that you just did. Do you want
Okay.
to make a motion on that one?
Motion to approve FY26 Adult Education Family Literacy Service Grant in the amount of $974,130.
Is there a second on that? Motion was made by Mr. Gomes, was probably seconded by Ms. Oliver. If you support that, please raise your hand. If you oppose, raise your hand. Passes unanimous. We will now go on to the other matter that was taken out, FY26 Commonwealth Preschool Partnership Initiative Grant in the amount of $966,812 even, which is again 4C enclosure.
Okay, and, oh, did you?
Oh, so this is also a grant that we do receive we did receive last year as well. And it allows us to expand affordable preschool opportunities for 3 and 4-year-olds. The grant funds preschool seats, curriculum alignment, professional development, and family engagement activities to support school readiness. Obviously, the outcome that we're looking for here is stronger preschool to kindergarten transitions. And so, you know, as much as we can get support for our preschool students, we do. It also does have a focus on serving those who are low-income English learners and have special needs.
Right, and also I wanted to add that this is the fourth year, but you have to apply every 3 years for the grant. I've been on the grant with Dr. Julianne Andrade for 3 years. I attend their meetings, and I just wanted to point out to people that we can't afford a full preschool program, but this program does get a lot of our early learners into the schools so they can be, you know, prepared for kindergarten. And there's also an excellent summer program that encompasses this. The Ready, I don't know, it's for 3 and 4-year-olds. I forget the name of it, that Dr. DeBarros and Juliana, Dr. Andrade, also work very hard, and that's an awesome program. The kids learn how to hold a pencil and everything to get ready, how to stand in a line to get ready for kindergarten. It also has partnerships with Head Start, the YMCA on West Chestnut Street, because that is now a center that encompasses our early, the baby program that used to be here, where the parents that had babies, and we had a program here, but because of funding, we went into a partnership with the YMCA. But Dr. Andrade also does work with that to get the preschoolers ready for kindergarten in the Brockton Day Nursery. And they also work with the Adult Learning Center somewhat to get the kids, the parents are attending their classes, get them care while the parents attend classes. It's a really awesome program, and it works in collaboration with the Family and Community Partnerships, which was the other one that I removed. To have, Brockton Public also has great parenting classes there. I don't know how well they're taken up by parents, but in order for Dr. Andrade to work and prepare families for the kids for school, then we have to have a Family and Community Partnership also. So they work kind of hand in hand, and Dr. Andrade is involved in and she has advocates that are over there, volunteers and everything. I just wanted to give her a shout out and recognition for her hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan. Any other comments on that? Mrs. Sullivan, I'll just read into the record. So you just talked about both. So the first one we've already read. The second one is FY26 Coordinated Family and Community Engagement Grant in the amount of $158,573 even, and that is 4E in the enclosures. Is there a motion, Mrs. Sullivan, relative to those two matters?
Motion to accept $966,812 in grant funds for the CPPI Community Preschool Partnership Grant, and to accept the $158,573 for the Family, Community, and Family
Thank you.
Family Engagement Center.
That's the form of a motion. Is there a second, please? On the motion?
On the motion, so, I mean, a few years ago, we did vote to open up another pre-K center, and I think we're at that pivotal point where we have to look at avenues of opening up another pre-K center, because that number obviously is grown. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but that's where we talk about you know, the partnerships that we already have, and I think with the proposed you know, Boys and Girls Club project, that's another partnership, because that property is not going to be utilized in the morning. We can actually have that as a site, long as they're willing to work with the school district, which I think they will, and that's with further conversation. And then also one of our 3 schools that are closed and how that looks. But, you know, it's more relying on the professionals. And, yeah, I know, like, everybody is fighting for this universal pre-K. If there's a way for us to get there and be the model that would be really great. And obviously, it comes with funding, and some of that's kind of constrained at this moment. But I hope that, Brockton is the leader in that, and trying to come up with a model even just to make sure that we get to that goal. But I'm confident that what will probably be presented in the future to the committee, they'll approve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. We have a motion. Is there a second relative to Mrs. Sullivan's motion on those two matters?
Second.
Motion was made by Mrs. Sullivan, properly second by Ms. Oliver. Or was that you, Ms. Azak? I'll tell you.
Mike sounds weird today.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So, again, those two matters are already read into the record. If you support that, kindly raise your hand. If you oppose that, raise your hand. Passes unanimous.
I just had one comment.
I'm sorry, sure.
Mayor, if I could.
Sure.
Just to in response to Mr. Rodriguez, the universal preschool, the state was supposed to give us aid for that. Okay, so that didn't come through. So that's why we don't have universal preschool yet. But this program that Dr. Andre runs, I believe has some preschoolers attending at the Downey and Unknown, I believe. I don't know if it's still in operation, but there was like half-day programs that they were doing. We didn't have transportation. I don't know if that's still going on, but I thought that included in this.
Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan. Point of information. Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan. The other matters before us tonight, I'm going to read them into the record. FY26 Mass DESI for the Partnership for Reading Success, Massachusetts PRISM 1 grant in the amount of $1,381,500 even, which is enclosure 4A. And then you have the FY26 Mass DESI Intensive Assistance Grant in the amount of $300,000 even, which is enclosure 4D. Then you have the FY Early College Support Grant in the amount of $125,000, which is 4F on the enclosure. Then we have the Nellie Mae Education Foundation for the Navigating Nova. Geez, my eyes are horrible. Now District. Sucks to get old. Responsive Support Grant in the amount of $100,000, which is 4G. FY26 Mass DESI for the Genocide Education Grant in the amount of $49,755, which is enclosure 4H. Then you have the FY26 Mass DESI for the McKinney-Vento Homeless Education Program, $45,000, which is 4I enclosure. Then you have the FY26 Secondary and Post-Secondary Program Improvement and Equipment Grant in the amount of $10,000 even, which is 4J. And then finally, we have the FY26 Community Development Block Grant for the South Opportunity Achievement Plan in the amount of $5,000, which is enclosure 4K. Is there a motion relative to those matters?
Motion to approve all of the above.
Thank you, sir. I don't have to read them again. Thank you. So motion made by Mr. Gomes, properly seconded by Mr. Sullivan. All in favor, kindly raise your hand. If you oppose, raise your hand. Those all pass unanimously. That concludes Agenda 4, consent agenda. We'll go on to Agenda 5, unfinished business. I don't believe there's any unfinished business since it's the first day of school. We'll go on to 6, which is new business. I don't believe there's any new business. 7, we do have school safety and security. We have the police liaison here. If we can get an update from, thank you, sir.
Greetings, Superintendent Eliani, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, school committee members, and those in attendance. So from a safety and security perspective, I think the first day of school went smooth for the most part. And with the start of every school year, the key to school safety is visibility. So all hands are on deck. So all of the officers, myself and Sergeant Livingston, we started the school day early, as we will continue to do so. It's important for instance, the high school, the freshmen, staff, the students, and the parents. They feel comfortable and safe when they see the cruisers and they see the officers standing out in front. And that also is with the other schools as they get in later in the day. So visibility is the key, and all hands are on deck. And we think this makes everybody feel a lot safer and secure. We did have an incident. There was a fight at Brockton High School a little bit later in the day. Fine officer standing over there, Officer Eric Teixeira, he's filing charges on 6 individuals, and they received the emergency suspensions, one of which is a repeat offender. So we want to work with the school administration, Principal McCaskill and his people. I want to mention they do an excellent job, as they did last year, and they do this year, and I'm sure it'll continue. And we want to deal with repeat offenders who engage in activities that hinder that positive and safe learning environment for the students. Remember, 99% of the students are there to learn. We deal with the 1%. So that's a very, very small minority of individuals. But that's what we want to do, is we want to make sure that we provide that safe and learning environment for the majority of the kids that are there to learn. So we'll be working with Principal McCaskill and his people. Like I said, they do an excellent job, along with the other principals with the other schools too. Sergeant Livingston, he conducted a safety orientation for teachers and staff, emphasizing the school policy on cell phones. Cell phone usage is banned by students on campus. This year, with everybody received their Yonder bags to place the cell phones, and I thought this year, compared to last year, was a lot smoother. The process was more refined. I thought it was a quicker process for all the students to get in. So I think that process has been mastered. Cell phone usage, it's banned because just anecdotally and also with stats, they can lead to cyberbullying, physical violence, which has happened in the past, such as planned organized assaults, as well as we've had students communicate with outsiders, which led to unauthorized entries on campus. Why you can't have cell phones in schools. Also, crimes involving narcotics as well. It's happened in the past. So parents should be aware that any violation will result in school discipline. Also, a reminder for motorists, people that are watching, to be extra cautious with regards to traffic safety, particularly around school buses, school zones, and areas where students travel. We will rotate our school police personnel in full force, as we have throughout the entire district. We're going to provide additional patrols to enforce school zone violations, also obeying posted speed limits and stopping for school buses. So be aware. Also, on another note, changing the subject, this Friday, your newest school police officer will be graduating from the police academy. Ms. Kenesha Cheney. Subsequent to that graduation, she'll embark on a 12-week field training program. That's 8 weeks with the Brockton Police Department, 4 weeks with the Brockton School Police, and another 2 weeks of administrative training. So, also, background checks were completed for the other new hires, and conditional letters of employment were sent to 2 potential candidates for the new school police posting. So, there's still work to be done for the 3rd budgeted position. Next are medical and the psychological portions of that process. We're looking for an individual that's fluent in Spanish. That's the up and coming and also the current, one of the needs that we have for the school police, to have Spanish speaking officers. So stay tuned. And the next academy right now, it seems to be April of 2026. We're hoping to get a December academy, because I did mention that before in the last meeting, that it's an 11-month process to go from entering the academy to actually being a full-time officer. So it's quite a process. And continuing, there were no issues with the Brockton school and community events over the summer. I think it was a successful summer. We really didn't have any issues. There's too many activity and community events to mention that were successful. I'll mention a couple of them. School committee member Azak, she organized the 10th annual BPS backpack giveaway in August. And school committee member Azak, your volunteers did a wonderful job. We made some adjustments with traffic early, and we think things went smooth. I know that there were a lot of contributors. School committee member Oliver, I had words with you during the event, as well as Vice Chair Tony Rodriguez. Another community event, the Brockton Carnival at BHS from July 30th to August 3rd. That went well. It was organized by Vice Chairman Rodriguez, and there were funds that went to various Brockton school programs. We had officers that were responsible for the parking lot and also for the security of the building. And there were no issues. They had their own security, and they also hired police details, but there were no problems with that carnival whatsoever. That was a positive event. So going to crime over the summer. On the weekend of July 12th, the Davis School on Plain Street was broken into. So school police conducted a thorough investigation. The suspect was eventually identified by school police, and school police officer Alex Moretta requested a warrant for the suspect for the breaking and entering. That suspect was subsequently located and taken into custody. That was from the break-in at the Davis School. On the 21st of July, Brockton Public School work truck was broken into, and that was at 91 Foster Street. There were multiple suspects involved with that, and about $6,000 worth of power tools were stolen. School police conducted an in-depth investigation. One of the suspects was identified by school police, and a warrant was issued, and that suspect was placed in custody. Many of the power tools were actually recovered in return to the school department. Now, School Police Officer Adelson Mendez, he handled that case. Excellent work, along with other school police officers. And just on a final note, every year we receive hoax school threats, mostly via online sources involving social media. All of them, including some that this past year that we've had, were false in nature. But they do cause initial alarm and the draining of resources. Remember, there's no right to privacy involving threats to schools or students. There's no right to privacy involving crimes against students. So as technology advances, so do the resources that are available to track the source. So many people use VPNs, virtual private networks. They use encryption, address maxing, ghost app, scrambling. But that only goes so far. You know, we rely on our federal and state partners who are more adept with assistance with this technology. My contact, or our contact with the FBI, we did do a successful track, although it did take some time. A threat to our school system and other school systems, which was false, but it was tracked to an individual from a foreign country overseas. And the federal government is actually looking at working with authorities in that country and see how things unfold. So the point of that is that you can be tracked if anybody tries to do a threat against a school or students. Also, finally, in light of recent events nationwide, we plan to conduct a refresher with the school police on the active shooter course that all the school police officers are certified in. So we're going to do a refresher on that in light of recent events. That'll be later in the month. I think that's it.
Any other, Ms. Azak, please.
Thank you, Lieutenant. First of all, thank you to you and our officers. Huge successful day, backpack. No, we didn't have any traffic jams, which was a plus. And the students always enjoy spending time with our police officers, so thank you. Quick question, the ALICE training, who puts that out? Is it our school police department that puts out the ALICE training, or does that come from Central, the ALICE training?
It comes from Central. Rob Jackson, I think the Safety and Security Director. He's, I know there's a video where Officer Adelson Mendez, he's a star in that video. We might lose him to Hollywood, but he participated in the video, and that's, I think Rob Jackson does an excellent job as Safety and Security. And of course, his supervisor, they put that together, and I believe that video is been distributed. And I believe most of the school department members and staff are able to view it. I'm not sure about whether or not if they sign off on it, but I know it's been available and made to them, the civilian side of the active shooter training.
I think in years past, we as members would get that, because I remember doing the ALICE training. I wouldn't mind seeing, what they're providing to our staff as far as the video and what kind of training we're providing. If we have it, if they can just, I know I'd like a copy of it just to view it myself. I thought in years past, I could be wrong, but I thought we had to do the ALICE training as well. I vaguely remember, I could be wrong, but I vaguely remember we did. I've seen it a few times. That's the only thing. So I would definitely like to see that, the ALICE training. And then any other training that you have prepared for our staff. I know in the next few months, if things come up, I know I'd like to attend them, see what kind of safety training we're offering, our just basic safety training to our teachers and our staff. But no, thank you so much for everything that you guys do.
Ms. Oliver, followed by Mrs. Sullivan, please.
Thank you. Just as a parent, I'll speak as a parent. I felt really safe dropping my kids off today. Just seeing all you all out there in the car, and I can just feel the excitement of, like, especially dropping off my freshmen here at Brockton High, and I can just see just the atmospheres and the environment was very safe and protected, especially at the beginning of Belmont Street, and the traffic was perfect. I really did not stay long in traffic, but I really truly appreciate all the work that each one of you have been doing throughout the summer and to keep our kids safe and all the summer program, and especially throughout the year, that you guys already have planned out to make sure every child that comes into our buildings is always protected and safe. I honestly, as a parent, appreciate all the work that you guys are doing daily for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver. Mrs. Sullivan, please.
I just wanted to clarify that I know you said that some funds came into the school system for the carnival, but any funds coming in have to be reflected in the consent agenda. So I know it hasn't been done in the past, but tonight we get the funds for these grants that are reflected. The school committee needs to know what money is coming into the district, okay? So it needs to be reflected in the consent agenda. And I do not believe it was a BPS event, because the school committee was never notified that it was being held. There was no discussion by the school committee about the carnival. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad people had fun. I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm just saying that there's processes to follow to have these things held, and the school committee was never notified of the carnival, and it was never discussed with the school committee. So if something happens at that carnival, I don't want my name on it that I'm responsible for that carnival. So that's why it needs to be discussed with the committee. And if there's any money coming in, we need it reflected on this consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Sullivan. Mr. Vice Chair?
I'll get back to the carnival, but I just want to talk about safety now. I know we had a discussion with the standards of officers within school districts, and we have one that's graduating this Friday, and there's 2 slated or 3 slated that's going to start the academy.
Well, we have 2 that conditional letters of employment were sent by the school department. There's a 3rd that is still in the process of, in other words, we don't have a definitive name. There's still a process of completing the backgrounds for the 3rd. So that's the only holdup of the 3rd. But in terms of the academy, the right now the earliest one is April, but we hope to have a December academy.
With these hires, what would the actual numbers be of officers in the department total?
Well, the total is going to be 13 officers total.
With the new hires?
With the new hires, that would, yeah, with the new hires, we're budgeted for 3. Right now, we have 10. I know there's one on administrative leave, but we have 10. So then there would be, Miss Kenesha Cheney, who's graduating on Friday, is going to be number 10. Then there'll be 3 more, so a total of 13.
13. Okay. I mean, we're going to have a different conversation of, I know there should be like a set number, a goal that we have to get to make sure that we're staffed properly on the school police, because that seems like a very low number in my opinion, moving forward. So the other thing is, I mean, this afternoon, I mean, if everybody's aware of at UMass Lowell, we had an incident there. My son's a coach at UMass Lowell, and he texted me that what was going on, and it was very concerning. There was social media posts, and there's students that we know that go up there, former Brockton High students. When it comes to, our school police, when it comes to equipment and something, because when you talk about somebody that's walking around with a rifle, do you see that our school police officers are equipped to handle that type of situation, or is there something that's needed for us to get there? I know we have a city side, school side, but if something happens on the grounds, are they fully equipped to handle somebody that comes in with a rifle? Because that's what you're seeing across these school shootings that's going around the country.
I think I know where you're going with that, Vice Chair. And I would say that I think on the city side, I think the decision on equipment comes from the city side. So as far as I know, it's difficult, I think, for the school committee to be deciding on what kind of equipment that the police officers should have, and the reason is that the lane of the schools have to do with education, so it's difficult. So right now, the school police officers don't have rifles, so The problem, I think, when you see some of the incidences that happen nationwide is that in a lot of situations, the police could be outgunned and outarmed, so to speak. So would it be advantageous to have rifles for the school police? And I would say that it would be advantageous. But again, that would be a decision for the city side. I believe there, for the most part, it's always been the chief that decides on what kind of equipment school police should have. So I'm not sure if that's a matter of policy or that's, she does provide those school police powers. So I would think that it would be incumbent on her to decide what kind of equipment that the police should have. Whether or not that would be the opinion of the school committee, I'm not entirely sure. But would I say right now that they're outgunned? I would say that in some situations, if you look at Lowell, that probably would be the case. I'm not sure how much more I could say on that.
Thank you. You answered that. Thank you.
Just a point of information, the Massachusetts University system is manned by the state police of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So, and what the lieutenant said is 100% accurate. Whoever the sworn police chief is for the city of Brockton has appointing authority for the police on the school side, and then also determines what equipment would be utilized. So if there is a desire to have a conversation with the chief, she's ready, willing, and able to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Vega?
Sorry, I don't want to drag up, and I don't know if it's a question for the lieutenant or for the principal, but you mentioned earlier that, the yonder pouches have some sort, they have some positive effect on negative behaviors. Do we have any hard numbers around what sort of, like with the introduction of the yonder pouches last year, do we see any behavioral changes that we can kind of break down into numbers?
I'm not sure about statistics. I don't know if any statistics were actually conducted within the city of Brockton and the Brockton school system when it comes to yonder bags. I mean, I'm sure there are statistics in some other schools from other municipalities. I think Brockton High with the size is such an aberration in terms of like the size of a school. So I'm not entirely sure, but I can tell you that it's a lot easier to focus on cell phone abuse when at least you have some rules set in place that there are no cell phones. Where if we go back years ago, you could have 30 students in a classroom and 29 have cell phones out. Now we don't have that, so it's a lot easier to focus and try to do some enforcement when you have the few that do. Just like with any other technology, it's only it's only as effective as as time goes on. There's always ways that people try to get around the technology. So enforcement can be a challenge, but I think. If you look at what goes on now as opposed to what's been happening in years past, I think it's a world of a difference. But that's what I would say. But in terms of hard facts, I'm not sure if there have been statistics. I don't think so in terms of the Brockton school system.
And that doesn't surprise me. It's a new program. We've been focused on the mechanics of getting it working. I'd just like to formally request that, going forward, if we could start to ask ourselves questions like, okay, this sort of infraction, how much has it gone down? And it doesn't necessarily mean it's yonder related, but I think you all know better than we would what sort of negative behaviors or actions are assisted by the technology that's now being put away in a bag. I think that would be helpful for taxpayers. We've gotten a lot of questions about the size of the investment on these pouches. We're adding more. I firmly believe in the program, but I want to be able to provide people with actual data on its effectiveness. And I don't know what that would look like, but if I can be helpful with that, I'm happy to. But yeah, I'd like to put that request in.
Thank you, Mr. Vega.
So
Superintendent, please.
So we can certainly pull some data as well to see if we can provide some context. One thing that I was going to present at our next school committee meeting was our discipline and suspension data from around the district, which is taken, and again, this is not just isolated to Brockton High, but I can get the disaggregated numbers. But if we're looking at our suspension numbers from 2022, out of school and emergency removals being at 2,881. Last year, we were at 1,557. And you've seen a steady decline over time, but there's been a significant drop in the last 3 years. Again, to your point, I don't know if it's because of the yonder bags, but I think that there are some metrics that we can certainly provide that demonstrate, I think, what is a positive trend in just the overall culture or discipline in the schools.
Thank you, Superintendent. Any other, Mr. Gomes, please.
one quick question. I know I'm asked now, otherwise I will forget. Well, thank you, first of all, for all the work that you guys have done, especially with the first day back to school. I was very excited seeing our kids going back. The mayor did mention the collaboration with the chief, and it just reminded me, and I wanted to ask now, Dr. T, where are we with the MOU for the police?
That's with our legal counsel at the moment that's reviewing it, so that just came in. So once that gets reviewed, it's going to go through with the superintendent, and that'll be forward to the school committee.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lieutenant at this time? Thank you very much. Next agenda item is announcements, which is agenda item 8. Any announcements at this time? I'm going to go to Ms. Azak, followed by Vice Chair, please.
Not really an announcement. I just wanted to thank Principal McCaskill for his welcome video. Pretty much topped it off. I thought last year was great. So this is awesome. So great job. This is what I love. You know, we're not perfect, but we're trying to stay positive and have a positive environment for our students. So thank you, Principal McCaskill. You outshined last year's video. And just for the families that are watching, go onto the Brockton Public Schools website. There's so much information on there. On a regular basis, Jordan, our communications director, is posting things, information that you might need. It's great to get familiar with the website. That's one thing. Go onto our social media. There's so much going on. If there's events that are happening or things that are happening within our district, just check out the social media pages, the Facebook page. I think there was an Instagram page. I see the Facebook page more often. I love how they're either highlighting events that are happening, or there's information on how to fill out forms or where to go for things. So just, reach out. It's great information out there. So check it out. And stay tuned. There's a lot of great things happening over at BPS throughout the next few months and throughout this school year. So just, thank you again to our superintendent. And we're all looking forward to a 2025-2026 school year. Welcome back, everyone, and let's get some work done. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go to Ms. Oliver, followed by the Vice Chair.
Thank you. I just wanted to just go into different school today and just seeing the smiles on the kids, and also the administrators and the educators. Unbelievable opening day. It was great. I went to Kennedy. They had music blasting. I was dancing over there. I do want to say I went to a few schools, and I want to say thank you to Ken and the custodians, because the school was clean. The floor looked unbelievable. They did a lot of painting around a lot of schools. And thank you for this morning, also the situation at Kennedy. Ken was awesome doing that to go help out over there. But definitely today was a great day to see all the kids and the parents. It wasn't crazy. I think the parents were very understanding of the bus issues a little bit, but I think that we did a great day opening the first day. So I do want to give a shout out to all the administrators and the educators. Welcome back.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Chair, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Unbelievable job, Superintendent. I was going to send some text. I said, no, she's real busy, so I'll let her handle that. So we always have hiccups. Nothing's perfect, transportation, traffic flow, parents trying to get their students to and from school, just making sure they get their pictures, but we all see it on social media. Great job, and it's just going to be a wonderful year. Looking forward to it, and visiting our schools, and partnering up with our educators and supporting them any way as possible. I know I'm one of the ones that visit the high school frequently, so I get to speak on that. But just to piggyback, I just want to say that as far as the carnival, as one of the colleagues mentioned, the reason why you didn't see it on here is because they just sent the check. And also, they haven't received all the invoices from the city side. We dealt with this before. So once that all comes in, everything gets processed through the superintendent's office, and everything is transparent because it goes through the law department. Facilities rentals doesn't come to the school committee. That goes through our facilities department. The city side, including the schools, do not rent out any property without liability insurance. There's a $15 million policy on there that goes. But I just want to allude that as of this moment, there's close to $40,000 in that account. The check just came in the other day, and once they get their books done, they'll send in the other check. And this costs the city, and I say city, $0. So they pay us to come here, and that money goes into an account that's controlled by the school committee, which I'll be making some proposals to create some scholarships. I also want to thank the Davis PTA, the Brockton High football team, and Coach Silva, the band boosters, and the concert choir for manning the parking lot, which received funds that helped with their program. So this is what the carnival does. I know there's a notion out there, there's propaganda, but everything is transparent. If you want, I could show you the documents that could be forwarded to you. You can read it however you want, as I did with Derek, and it's in the superintendent's office with all the checks. So I'm not sure what it is, but once that funds come in here, it will be in here, and we'll do another check presentation. So, and also, we don't know who's going to be on this committee, and I hope that the committee takes this a little step further, because it's free money that's going to support our students. So it's a great thing for the city, and thank you for all the boosters and PTAs from this year and also last year that participated. We try to make it fluent for them so everybody gets a piece of the pie so they can raise money for their organizations. Somebody has to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I just have two announcements. One, as a parent of a student at West Middle School, I want to thank Principal Campbell. We receive, as parents, we receive a plethora of voicemails and emails from the school system, mine specifically from West Middle School. But today was unbelievable, and the kids were smiling. My own child was happy to go to school, and when he came home, I asked him how it was. He said, "Dad, it was fantastic." I never said that as an 8th grade, I'll tell you that. So again, kudos to everybody. I also want to give a shout out to the principal. I hope Hollywood doesn't steal him as well, or the superintendent. Again, they were in good company with some Hollywood stars, all right? Neil McDonough from Band of Brothers and Michael Imperioli from Sopranos. So job well done. We'll continue the efforts. Now, as the mayor, I just want to let everybody know this coming Saturday is a big day in the city of Brockton at 3 o'clock. If you're a football fan, and we have the Junior Raiders in Brockton, right, youth football, Al Davis, who created the Oakland Raiders, which is now the Las Vegas Raiders, lived in Brockton, lived on Spring Street. A lot of people don't know that. So his son, Mark Davis, who now owns the Las Vegas Raiders, along with Tom Brady, Mark's going to be joining us. We have a really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase Al Davis. Now, people might say, I don't really know much about Al Davis or football other than he was kind of a let's win baby type of guy. But he was a pioneer when it comes to diversity. He was the first NFL owner to ever hire a black coach, a Latino coach, and a woman CEO. He was the first NFL in history to actually take a black quarterback in the first round. So the fact is, we are going to honor him. We honor a lot of Brocktonians that have passed away, but it really is going to be a great opportunity, and I know there's going to be a lot of youth. It's 3 o'clock outside of City Hall on Saturday. It's on Saturday because the Patriots are going to crush the Raiders on Sunday, but we won't tell Mr. Davis that on Saturday. But again, if anybody can come, it's 3 o'clock. It probably won't be more than a half an hour, but it's going to be really a milestone in the city's history. So thank you. This time, Mrs. Sullivan, please.
I just had a comment on what Mr. Rodriguez was saying. There's been 3 carnivals. I haven't seen any money come through on the consent agenda. If money's coming into the district, the school committee decides how the money is spent, not a single person, okay? This is it's written in ethics and everything else. So to be transparent, we need to see the money that came in, and also we, as a group, decide how it's spent, not a single person. And the committee never discussed or approved the carnival, so.
As the chair, we're going to move on. I think it's been asked and answered already. We're going to go to number 9, executive session. I do have to read into the record the following. School committee will go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigating if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. As chair, I do so declare. litigation update, Teamsters Local Union number 653, transportation. I need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session.
Motion made by Ms. Oliver. Is there a second? Second made, well, it's collectively, but I'll go with Mr. Vega on that one. Now, under the standards, I have to call a roll call because we have a motion to go in. It was properly second. Roll call, please. Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mr. Vega? Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. I do want everybody to know that's here in attendance, we will not be coming back into open session, and we are going into G218. G218. Thank you. That's correct, Mrs. Campbell, 218G, green? Okay, thank you, everybody.